Wow, big day for the Seattle Kraken, and it's been a long time since we've been able to say that. Now, I am going to get to the Bobby McMann stuff, but we do kind of need to mention the Mackie Samoskevich stuff. Steve Dangle, in his video about Brady Tkachuk, will also be talking about Mackie Samoskevich. So if you're really interested in the Mackie Samoskevich trade, well, you're going to get it in two parts, once with me and once with Steve. Now, here's the deal. The Kraken traded for Mackie Samoskevich. They traded the first-round pick that Tampa gave them last year in the Yanni Gourde deal for the 2026 draft, so that's this year, and a conditional second-round pick in the 2027 draft for Mackie Samoskevich. Now, why does Seattle want to do this? Well, here's the thing with Mackie Samoskevich. First off, he's 23. We like that. He's a right wing. They like that because Eberle and Capo could use a little bit of competition for those top 6 minutes. Also, Mackie Samoskevich's underlying minutes are actually really, really strong, and he's got the championship pedigree. He's played on great teams. He knows what it takes to win. He saw and learned from all those veterans in Florida. And, former teammate Brandon Montour is on his team as well. This is important for the Seattle Kraken for a couple of reasons. Number one, relevancy. They got to be relevant. They haven't been relevant. Their fans are like, we're not relevant. They've had zero success. Ron Francis has had to step down. It's just one of those things with Seattle where they are fighting a malaise within their fan group. Not because people don't want to love them, but because there hasn't been a whole lot to love since they made the second round that one time they made the playoffs. It's just not been a great start to their franchise, so Mackie helps with that. Now, they do have to re-sign him, and I'm sure it's going to be expensive because here's the deal. When you trade for an RFA, they already have you over a barrel. Hey, you've given up a first-rounder and a conditional second for me? That must mean you value me. Now, I'm going to charge you for that. And beyond that, there's going to be some eye-watering sums handed out to UFAs and RFAs this summer just because of the fact that the cap is going up. Is it going to be something that handcuffs the roster forever? No, but he's going to make a lot of money, and it's going to be more than you think he should make. But hey, guess what? I think this is a player on the rise. Now, if you look back at his previous seasons, he's been pretty consistent with the Florida Panthers. Won the cup with them in 24-25, obviously, was a minor bit part player on their way to the championship, but he's got a ring, 31 points in 72 games. Last year, roughly the same, 32 points in 77 games. This guy is 5'11", 180 pounds, so you could consider him a bit undersized, but he's got a motor, and there's a lot to really like about his attitude and where he was going. And it's funny because the Florida Panthers have basically just committed to saying, we're going to be bad in a couple of years, but right now we're going to be incredible. They're basically making a super team, and sometimes you got to trade off the roster to get something. The pick that they traded for was obviously then traded to Ottawa for Brady Tkachuk and Bob Juronkel. Now, the other piece we need to talk about, and the more important part of this video, is Bobby McMann. It's not just that Bobby McMann signed in Seattle. It's that Seattle kept Bobby McMann from going to free agency after giving up a couple of picks to him to the Toronto Maple Leafs. That would be the second-round pick and the fourth-round pick that they gave up. The fourth-round pick is for this year's draft. The second-round pick is for next year's draft. You can't let Bobby McMann walk for nothing, and they didn't. Nice little contract for him, too. We're talking 6 years, $5.75 million for a guy who a couple of years ago was playing in the ECHL and playing in the AHL. And the Leafs, and this is just such a great story, the Leafs were going to waive him. They had an injury last second. This is in Brad Treliving's first year. Last second injury. They don't waive him. He scores a hat trick that night, ends up going on a hot streak, and has become, or did become, a very important power forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, his playoff numbers with the Leafs a couple of years ago, not sparkling, just 3 assists in 13 games. He actually missed the previous year's playoff run with an injury, so that was tough. But this is a guy who does the thing that's hardest in the sport. He scores goals, a lot of goals, especially for a depth guy. So, Toronto Maple Leafs, the year he almost got waived, he got 15 goals, 9 assists in 56 games. Not bad. Then followed it up the following year. 20 goals, 14 assists in 34 games his first year under Craig Berube, where everybody's offense tanked. And this year, 19 goals with the Leafs in 60 games before getting traded to Seattle and going on an absolute heater. And again, he was the only one in Seattle that seemed to want to make the playoffs. 10 goals in 18 games. Yeah, you got to keep that guy around. He's kind of important. And he's going to be a lot of, I think, what brings Seattle into a more relevant tract, not just in their division, not just in their conference, but with their fans and with like the national discourse, because you've got Jared McCann and you got Bobby McMann on the left side. McMann. Jared McCann injured for a lot of last year, but scores a ton of goals when he's healthy. Bobby McMann, same thing. Both are 30. And here's the thing, Jared McCann's deal is up after next season. So you have a guy waiting in the wings for a little bit of insurance as well. The thing with Seattle is we got to figure out what Seattle's got to be. What is their identity? When you play the Kraken, what are you playing? What do you need to look out for? What should you fear? What are the things that they're not actually that good at? Well, the things that they're not that good at, the list is a lot longer than it should be, okay? The things that they are good at, the things that are a part of their identity are, I don't know, kind of blurry. And if you kind of look at the way the rest of the roster is structured, Shane Wright is in a ton of trade rumors. Their defense, with some really good pieces, just does not seem to be getting the job done. But you've got an incredible goalie in Joey Daccord. You've got tons of potential on that defense. Vince Dunn's been such a great pickup. We know Brandon Montour is a great defenseman. Larson's, slower, but he's still 33. He's got time to, continue on his career. I just look at this and I go, this is the first step. This is the easy checkbox that Seattle needs to do. The 2 moves today, they can't be done. They shouldn't be done. They need more. And I don't know exactly where they're going to get it, but they have a ton of cap space. Currently, $22.5 million, and that doesn't count any money that might get traded off the roster. And remember, too, that they're going through currently a managerial franchise-wide look at themselves, and they're actually going to take this investigation that they're doing. They've hired a third party to do this, and they're going to give it to the fans and say, here's where we're at, and next year we're going to do another one, and we'll show you where we're at then. I kind of respect it. So look out for the Seattle Kraken. They've got some interesting stuff going on. Worth noting as well, they have some assets. I don't think this is a team that wants to rebuild. This is a team that wants to win now. They've got this year's first. They already had, obviously, Tampa's first, but they traded that. They've got 2 firsts next year, and they got a first in 2028, plus all their second-round picks, and next year's third, and the year following's third-round pick. So they got a lot to deal with in terms of things that you can trade. If Shane Wright is well and truly on the block, well, a lot of teams would be very interested in that. The Seattle Kraken might just try to remake themselves this offseason, and I'm interested. The last thing I want to tell you about Bobby McMann is he's a pretty good Instagram follow. If you don't get jealous, because Bobby McMahon's got abs. He's got, I think, as many abs as he has career goals. 60 or 70, something like that. There's so many abs this man has. It's a little bit like, I get jealous, so I might have to unfollow the guy. But he seems to be having a great time in Seattle and a great time on vacation, and he never puts on a shirt. Anyway, Seattle Kraken fans, I want to know, are you excited? There seems to be some movement. The Kraken seem to be doing some things. How do you feel about the Mackie Samoskevich trade? How do you feel about the Bobby McMann re-sign? Who do you think is next? Are they making a move on defense? Are they trading Shane Wright? What are they doing? What are the Seattle Kraken going to be next season? Are they finally going to find that identity? Curious to hear what you think. Leave the comments below.
Hey, did you like the thing you just watched?
Was it hilarious? Was it informative?
Was it me losing my mind?
Possibly. Potentially. Most of the time it is. Hey, listen, if you like what SDPN has to offer, you should check out more of our videos and subscribe to our channel by clicking subscribe, or Steve will find you.